church and mental health. All month long, we've been trying to shed light on this matter of mental health, to become more informed, more aware of this matter. What we've been doing more so is taking a look at mental health from an individual perspective. I've been trying to help individuals look within, take an honest assessment, and just really be real with themselves in spite of the stigmas that's been attached to it. To be able to be honest and acknowledge the real deal of what's going on within. To be able to be transparent, because I really believe that's what's lacking within the church, is transparency and being authentic and honest. Because we have perfected, and I hate to say it, hypocrisy. That we are more concerned about how we are perceived and pretending more so than being whole and healed. And so we have to get to the place where we're honest, we're not worried about the perception, more so getting to the truth of the matter and getting to the place of healing and wholeness, and willing to reach out for help and get some help, both professionally, medically, spiritually as well. But I want to look at it from a collective perspective, corporate perspective, how we approach mental health, because for so long this subject matter has been quite a taboo. It's often been overlooked, sometimes pushed to the side and really not addressed head on. And it's too prevalent. Too many people have been affected by it, not to really address the real world truth. And so we have to look at it. How can we approach it in a way that we are being relevant and ministering to those who are struggling with mental health challenges? There are two really components I want to lift tonight in this matter of the church and mental health. Really, I believe it is essential in really what is the driving force behind how I'm looking at it, the perspective that I'm trying to take with this matter. And these two things really are empathy and enlightenment. Empathy and enlightenment. So the first thing I simply want to say is this, the church must be empathetic. The church, when it comes to mental health and how we address it, the church must be empathetic. That word empathy actually is a compound Greek word. The prefix M-E-M means in, pathos, which means passion or feeling. So empathy, empathos, means inner feeling, inner passion, inner feeling. And really what it is, empathy is a psychological term, which means the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another. It's being able to emotionally understand what other people feel, see things from their point of view, and imagine yourself in their place. Empathy has two parts: shared feelings and seeing other perspectives. Simply put, it is putting yourself in someone else's position and feeling what they must be feeling. It's really akin to sympathy, but empathy is somewhat different from sympathy. Empathy is shown in how much compassion and understanding we can give to another. Sympathy is more about feeling somewhat pity toward another. Empathy is our ability to understand how someone feels, while sympathy is our relief. It's not us having the same problems. I feel sorry that you're going through that, but I'm glad it's not me. I'm sorry that you are sick, but I'm glad I'm not sick. When we relate with empathy, we give the other person space to own their emotions and feelings. We reflect on what they are feeling and provide a safe space for all emotions, even negative ones. In other words, I'm going to give you the space to let it all out. When we relate with sympathy, we have moved sometime into the place where we are busy trying to solve a problem. We have ideas and judgments about how the person feels and what they should do. And this not only minimizes the person's problem, but it ignores their feelings. The sociologist C. Daniel Batson, who researched empathy for decades, said that the term now can refer to it with 8 different concepts. I ain't got time to walk through them, but let me just give it to you. He says it's knowing another's thoughts and feelings. It's imagining another's thoughts and feelings. It's adopting the posture of another. Actually feeling as another does. Imagining how one would feel or think in another's place. Feeling distress at another's suffering. And feeling for another's suffering. You do understand all of that is biblical. Because Paul says in Romans chapter 12, verse 15 and 16a, he says, rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. In essence, that we ought to have some sense of empathy when people are rejoicing, but also when they're weeping, we weep as well. Here's the problem with empathy sometimes, and that is sometimes I can't empathize with you if I have not experienced what you're going through. Because we think that it is only through experience that we can empathize. So that's why sometimes a person who empathize with those who are abused, possibly because they've been abused themselves. That a person who can empathize with domestic violence is because they themselves have gone through the same thing and can empathize with them. But we must understand that empathy must not be limited to experience. Meaning that if I have not experienced that, then I can't empathize with you. That's not true. If you have a heart,
that's right,
and the Lord has touched you, even if you have not experienced it, I should be able to be able to connect with you and have compassion toward you and demonstrate love toward you and be concerned about you. Because here's the truth, based upon the statistics, I gotta push real quickly, concerning the stigma, especially in the black church, among those who are considered to be religious. Remember, the stigma is that admitting a mental health issue is a sign of weakness.